Beba Baluba, and there's the ding. It's time to do this again, Matthew. Jesus.
It is indeed, James. This is Leftist Lens. We're mad. We're going to tell you why.
Yes.
You should be too.
Mad is like, there's so many fucking emotions. It's shock. It's shock. And it shouldn't be shock anymore, but it's shock. And with what went on this week, you should be shocked.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
All right, we're gonna start with this just happened yesterday, where President Trump invoked the Alien Enemies Act that was used 3 times before in the War of 1812, World War I, and World War II, where we took immigrants from the countries we were fighting against and put them in detention camps, and citizens, in fact, American citizens. A judge has already blocked it, but who knows? That'll work its way through the courts, and it may end up being a thing. This should frighten you because it will allow what has already happened to at least 2 legal immigrants, green card holders. It'll allow it to happen to you and me. All right, so there are at least 2 green card holders that are being held for deportation right now. Mahmoud Khalil, who was a student at Columbia University, who helped organize some of the protests against Israel's genocide that happened there last school year. He's been detained, and they're going to try to deport him. He's a legal resident. And not just on a student visa. He has a resident visa. And another one, Fabian Schmidt, who's a German green card holder. He had been in Europe, and when he flew back to Rhode Island, well, he's from New Hampshire, but he flew back to Rhode Island. He was detained at the airport, and he was essentially tortured. They said they stripped him and threw him in a shower and sprayed him with cold water. They're not saying anything at all about why they did that to him. But he also has a residence visa. So this is frightening.
Layers of an onion. This is the things that we're going to talk about today, including what Matt just talked about, are hallmarks. They're indisputable historical hallmarks of a certain type of regime that we now chose to live under. So here you go, folks.
It's also important to note that the crime that Khalil is being held for having violated is absolutely protected First Amendment speech. He committed no crime, and he's in a detention camp right now.
Well, and let me refer back to, you touched on it briefly, the fact that a judge has halted the administration's efforts to use the Alien Insurrection Act or the Alien Enemies Act, whatever it is, to deport these legal residents. I think it's important that happened. And I read the response. I watched somebody read the response to the lawyers. First of all, in the challenge to that, the use of that act in that court, the administration sent no representatives of the administration to the hearing. They sent a couple lawyers, and the lawyers were completely unprepared. And the judge, I don't think the judge basically heard 2 words from those fucking lawyers before he put a stop to this. Now, it's going, yes, as you said, it's going to go through the courts, and that's how these things should go. But Trump is livid about this. He has declared that he is above the law. He is above the Constitution. I've seen, I don't know how many, I think it was that, oh my God, I hate this woman so much. The fucking press secretary for the administration proclaiming her frustration that how can a judge undo what a president has declared. Excuse me. We prior to 2020, whatever fucking year this is, prior to 2025, we had checks and balances, and these checks and balances were there for a reason. And everything that is unconstitutional, I think it's close to everything that's unconstitutional that this fuckwit has tried to implement has been stopped by the courts. And in numerous instances, he has basically flouted his belief that he's above the courts and still tried to do under the same guise whatever it is that was declared illegal by the courts. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Right now, the courts are the only thing saving us. The courts are the only thing keeping the jackbooted thugs from coming at our door for talking about this. So they're, oh my God.
That day could still come.
Yeah. There's a lot that he could try to do. And here's the thing. Who was it? Somebody said to me something about, it was with regard to Musk outing the daughter of the judge that ordered the probationary employees back to work. It's got to be illegal to do that. And I said, yeah, who's gonna fucking prosecute this? Who's gonna stop it? The Justice Department is owned by the man who is claiming he is above the Constitution, and the people that he's put into the positions of governance and power in those agencies are fucking disgusting fucking people. Now let me point something else out about this, the use of this Alien Insurrection Act. You don't think for a minute that Trump knew what that was. Trump doesn't know a fucking thing about American history, much less a fucking obscure legal maneuver from the 1700s. That seed was put into his head by the little fucking maggoty fucking sycophants that are surround him like flies on a pile of shit. That said, yeah, we hate these people, and this is what we can do because we looked this up. And Trump's like, oh yeah, that's great. Trump knew nothing about this until one of his little Heritage Foundation fucking cretins brought it up and said, let's use this because yeah, it'll be great. Fucking there we go. Moving on.
Let's talk about his speech at the DOJ. We're skipping ahead a bit because I think it fits here. So Trump was over at the Department of Justice and he gave a long speech where he basically laid out his plan for revenge on his political enemies. He is absolutely going to use the Department of Justice to arrest political enemies. That is absolutely going to happen. I don't know what charges they're going to make up to do that, but I recommend you watch his speech. It's really long and it's rambling, but he calls the media. He says if the media criticizes him, that's illegal. He said he bragged about taking away the security clearances of all the enemies like Joe Biden and Jack Smith and stuff like that. I don't even know what to say, man.
Well, let me point something out about this because I think this is important. When Trump was prosecuted for his illegal behavior after leaving office and partially while he was in office, the response from him was always the Biden administration is weaponizing the DOJ to persecute its political enemies. Roll that tape back a little further, because I believe fully that what Trump did before leaving office was he realized, or someone told him, do all the things, do all the illegal things as you're leaving office. And then we're going to use that to say that the DOJ has weaponized, or the Biden administration has weaponized the DOJ to prosecute political enemies. And so that was all set up that way. It wasn't that. I mean, yes, he had a financial motive, which everything for him is a financial motive for doing all the fucking breach of classified information and everything else that he did at the end of his administration. But there was a carefully orchestrated maneuver into this to use that mantra. And so this is, again, an example of where the things that are blatantly true today about the fact that Trump is, as he stated in his speech, is going after the free press and declaring dissenting speech illegal. Those are examples of weaponizing the Department of Justice against your political enemies. The fact that the Biden administration's DOJ prosecuted him for doing the illegal things that are on the books as illegal. It's this thing where the right will take the most obvious things and turn them on their fucking ear to try to justify what they're doing. It's like what you say is what you are. Nana nana boo boo. These fucking. It's fucking horrifying that people are believing what he's saying. That, oh yeah, and King Trump and all this shit. Let me fucking tell you, any of these fucking people who walk around talking about King Trump, I better not find you out and about celebrating the 4th of July, you motherfuckers. You have broken ranks with reality. End of rant.
Yes, well, dismantling. They obviously don't believe in the First Amendment. They don't believe in the free press. They will arrest you for protected speech, like they did with Mahmoud Khalil. The law doesn't matter to them at all. Why does it matter to us still?
That's a tough one because we are relying today in trying to combat the insanity that he's implementing and the violations of the Constitution. The Constitution is the law. We are using that to try to keep us from falling completely into the abyss. Now, I, as you might be implying, have been a staunch advocate. Here's where Matt's gonna say, those fucking James again. The only appropriate response to blatant fascism is violence.
Mm-hmm.
That's not my opinion. That's a fact. I mean, oh my God, I saw an image last night of the 1.6 million people congregated in Serbia protesting the lack of accountability in their government, a drone shot from above, seeing this. And my only thought when I saw that was that we do not deserve the illusion of freedom that we think we have. We would never bring ourselves to do that. It's insane that we wouldn't bring ourselves to do that. We don't deserve even the illusion of freedom that we have. It's fucking. See, I didn't go too far off, did I?
No, and you're 100% right. It does require violence. It doesn't. Violence against the state is the only way you can change the state.
I don't think it's going to be easy because they're going to.
Also, it's important to point out violence doesn't necessarily mean physical violence against humans.
Yeah.
Violence against the state includes protesting, breaking stuff, withholding your labor, doing things like that.
There was a.
I still don't understand why the unions aren't all striking. They're going to lose their right to strike any minute now, and they're still doing nothing about it. I still don't understand that.
My first exposure that I was aware of by proxy into socialism was in my 20s, I think, and it came from a fucking Star Trek movie. It was one of the Star Trek movies where some lieutenant next to Kirk is talking about the definition of the word sabotage. And how the workers in Denmark removed their wooden shoes called sabots and threw them into the machinery in the factories to bring the oppressive systems to a halt. And they were called sabots and sabotage. And I don't know if it's true or not. It doesn't matter. But I was like,
it's probably true.
That's fucking awesome. But that is exactly what you're pointing out, is that the violence we're talking about is not necessarily bashing Nazis in the head with a fishing bat, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. But it could be bringing the corporate systems to their knees, which is
What the fuck's a fishing bat?
oh fuck. I'll show you after the.
That's a real thing.
Oh fuck yeah.
Okay.
It's out in my fucking car in case I come across Nazi protests. It's about 18 inches long. It's a baseball bat. In my case, it's aluminum. You can get them or wood. It's very handy. I love it. Anyway.
Okay.
But yeah, that's, that was my first exposure to socialism that I remember. And I was like, God damn, that's eloquent. I hope it's true. I don't know if it is. I'm going to look it up after the podcast. Oh my God.
All right. James, what has the opposition party been up to this week?
Joining the fucking fascists, acquiescing to them, endorsing them.
Well, last week we named all the Democrats that voted to censure Al Green when he shook his cane at Trump at the State of the Union. This week we're going to name the 10 Democrat senators, well, 9 Democrats and 1 independent, but he caucuses with the Democrats, that voted to end cloture so that the Republicans could pass their continuing resolution to fund the government. That includes the one they want, that includes everything they wanted, the cuts to Medicaid, the cuts to Social Security, the tax cuts for the rich, all that shit. 10 Democrats voted to allow that to happen. They are Minority Leader Chuck Schumer of New York, my senator that I have heavily regret voting for, John Fetterman of Pennsylvania, Catherine Cortez Masto of Nevada, Dick Durbin of Illinois, Brian Schultz of Hawaii, Gary Peters of Michigan, Maggie Hassan at New Hampshire, Kirsten Gillibrand, New York, Jeanne, Shaheen from New Hampshire, and Angus King from Maine. He's the independent. They did not negotiate anything. They got no concessions from the Republicans. They just voted to let the Republicans do whatever the fuck they want, against the wishes of the Democratic House members who implored them to not do that. Maybe I should give you some background. The Republicans are going to use reconciliation to pass their continuing resolution. It means they only need a simple majority to pass it, which they have in both houses, right? But in the Senate, you can debate stuff forever, and to end that debate, it takes 60 votes. So that is what they did. They ended the debate so that the bill could be voted on. And Democrats helped them do that. And like I said, they took no concessions. They didn't negotiate anything. They just went along with it. Disappointing.
AOC needs to primary Chuck Schumer.
A lot of people are saying that.
She has to do this. There's because when the question you led into this with is what was the opposition party do? There is no opposition party. This isn't an opposition party. There isn't one. But if the Democrats like AOC and the squad and the others that are of like mind take some action that is directly in response to this, it is what needs to happen. If it doesn't happen, God help us in the fucking midterms, because fuck. Oh
yeah.
You have the Tesla ad that was done at the White House in the outline today. I want to point out that the president selling things, which is exactly what that was. It was a marketing event for a private company, for a product. The president selling things is a violation of law. He cannot do this. But again, who's going to hold him accountable? Who's going to do anything about this? Fucking no one. That's who.
It was insane, though. What? Right?
Oh my God!
It was insane. He was reading off model names and prices. It was like a TV commercial.
Fucking, it's just how are you not embarrassed by this if you're a human being? The people
people who are Trump supporters have to see that made him look weak. Elon Musk, his wealth is heavily tied to Tesla, and Tesla stock has been plummeting, and sales are cratered. Sales of Teslas in Germany are down 70%
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
So it's hurting his pocketbook. That shows. So he has an obvious incentive to try to, increase the sales of Tesla. So he made Trump do that. Right?
I'm sure he did. Yeah.
So how weak is Trump that he'll just roll over like that?
I think first of all that Trump saw it as ingratiating himself. Anything that Trump can do to put himself in front of the camera is a great thing. There's no bad thing about it. By the way, did you see, it wasn't in that event, it was something shortly after that, when he was out being interviewed in the South Lawn or whatever, and he got hit in the face with the microphone.
I did not see
Oh
that.
my God. There was supporters around there. It was a boom mic and it hit him in the face and he's like, like fucking, oh, tell me that wasn't intentional. Please tell me it was. Yeah, but the illegality of him hawking a product like that needs to be fucking. Al Green filed. Did we mention this already? Articles of impeachment?
No, we talked about it, but not on the recording. So go ahead, mention it.
Yeah, but and I immediately asked the person that showed it to me, "What's the basis? What's the basis?" And the basis is his statements on Gaza, which is fine. I don't know if articles of impeachment can include more than one thing. Maybe that's how it works, and that's what Al Green chose because that's Al Green's. I mean, it's a justified basis. But hopefully it's just the beginning of articles of impeachment being filed. But then I remember fucking, what's her name? Boebert and Green filed articles of impeachment against Biden like every week. And of course it went nowhere because there was no basis. These things have basis, actual legal basis. And they'll probably still go nowhere. But,
yeah,
again, if things that are going to stop this cascade of fascism are actually going to happen, they're not going to come from within Congress. They're going to come from the district courts and the Supreme Court. That's where they're going to come from. That's where they've been coming from.
And the prime motivator, the people that are going to motivate that are the workers, the unions, and students.
Mm-hmm.
That's who has to be involved and active in showing their displeasure, which they are. Students are, for sure. They always have been. I'm disappointed in the unions so far, but
yeah, the unions are. This is why the union thing is a tough one for me in terms of what we're talking about, because this showed up with the longshoreman thing that broke out. Was that last year?
Mm-hmm.
The guy who's the head of the union for the longshoremen is a wealthy cunt. He's on the side of the fucking GOP that prefers the wealthy. That's why it's difficult for me. But corruption exists in systems that are that complex and that large, and the corruption exists in the unions. And I hope the unions can clean house sufficiently. And the fact that this administration is fully vested in breaking unions and dissolving unions and making them illegal would be a wake-up call for the rich cunts who are the heads of these unions that, like, hey, he's threatening my livelihood here. Is he going to offer me a cabinet position to continue to make money? I don't think so. So yeah, hopefully the unions will clean house and do their job with regard to what's being done to them.
All right. The other insane thing to me that happened this week is Trump and social media influencers, right-wing influencers, started saying that the price of eggs had fallen, which isn't true. I was at the grocery store yesterday. The price hasn't changed. They're $6.99 a dozen eggs. That's for the cheap ones. You can get other eggs. Dozen eggs are like $15.
$12 a dozen at the cheapest place in New Hampshire, according to my son.
Yeah. So they haven't gotten cheaper. I don't know why he said that. But then, despite the fact that he continues to threaten to annex Greenland, which is administered by Denmark, he had the audacity to ask Denmark to send us eggs. to try to lower the price. I hope Denmark doesn't send a single egg. Please.
Have we ever imported eggs before?
I don't know. I don't know if we have. It doesn't. I don't think that's normal. We import things like wheat, grains, fruits, vegetables, stuff like that. I don't know if we import dairy stuff.
Well, we do from Canada.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I don't know either. But obviously the intent there is to increase the supply, which would lower the price. And again, it's not really Trump's fault that the eggs are expensive. I just don't know why he's claimed that they weren't.
Yeah, why wouldn't he be put? Well, because it's the truth. That's why he's not pushing the real root cause of why eggs are through the roof. Because he can't vocalize the truth. The words aren't formable in his gelatinous fucking mouth. By the way, if we're touching on the issue of trade agreements, that I hate that press secretary so much. The hubris with which she lied about the trade deal with Canada and how she framed Canada has been ripping off the United States for decades. Blah, 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 blah. The 2018 trade deal with Canada was written and approved and endorsed and celebrated by Trump.
Yeah, not only that, but the 200% tariff that he keeps talking about has never been applied to a single item.
No, we've never come close to hitting that quota that would trigger that fucking tariff. And she's acting like it's an everyday thing. She's such a liar. But then again, the MAGA loves the lies. That's all they love are the lies. They have no capacity for truth or reality, and they love that fact. They think that makes them superior and more comfortable in their life, and it elevates their station in life to be the defenders of the lies. What the fuck is going on here? Oh my God.
Yeah. So I don't know.
The Greenland thing and the Canada thing. Trump's statements about, I watched him make this statement about the Canadian border is just an imaginary line that somebody drew a long time ago. Every fucking border is an imaginary line, you stupid fuck. and then his statement about Greenland. Jesus Christ. I don't think Denmark has a boat landed there a long time ago. Somebody on a boat in Denmark. What the fuck is going on here? And my frustration is less with watching that moron say that stupid shit than it is with the people that are sitting back in their fucking lazy boys in fucking Kentucky. They're like, yeah, imaginary boats. Fucking yeah. I know they're doing it. And I want to find them and just, this is my favorite thing, grab them by the ears and shake them like an unruly infant. Don't shake infants.
I
did it. I have to do it every fucking
Do not shake infants. Don't, please. Yeah, but I will say this. Trump threatening to annex Canada has brought out a ton of Canadian patriotism. Canada has a fascist problem. Like they have people just like our Trump supporters that hate immigrants and wouldn't mind some Canadian fascism. But even they don't want to be part of the United States, and they did not like Trump's statements to that effect. So yeah, even the far right conservatives in Canada have become anti-Trump, and I think that's something.
Oh, by the way, on the world stage, Putin rejected the ceasefire deal that, whoa, your backlight just like flared up like a bomb went off behind you.
It's incredibly windy.
It's the nuke that we're waiting for.
I think it was probably a curtain blowing or something.
Putin rejected the, and then I read through Putin's list of terms that would have to exist for him to accept the deal. This isn't going to happen. It's not, there won't be a ceasefire. Yeah, well, I don't want to get into Ukraine and Russia today because that's a whole episode on its own, and maybe next week we'll cover that more because I'm sure terrible things are going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also on the world stage, we have begun bombing Yemen. That happened yesterday. we're recording this on March 16th, by the way. So when I say yesterday, that's March 15th.
Mhm.
Bombing the Houthis. Trump also threatened Iran. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't want to get too much into that. This is happening.
Trump's not going to get us into any wars, right? That's
Yep.
one of his claims to fame.
Yep.
And
he knows he's going to start World War III. I think that's why he was intent on blaming Zelensky for it when he was here.
Yeah, that was weird.
We already did talk about that, but that's what I think was going on there.
Yeah.
Anything else of import, James, or can we get frivolous?
Tulsi Gabbard is venomously going after what she calls leakers in intel agencies in the U.S. government. Fuck her. What is it that people are leaking? Yeah, fuck you. I hate that woman. God, she's disgusting.
She is.
Anyway, no, that's all I got. That's all I got.
All right. Severance is coming to the end. We won't spoil anything here, but
but explain
this season.
Yeah, I watched. Was it episode 9 last night?
Yeah.
Who is the person that was standing in the hallway when Helly is sitting at her desk and spins around and this shadowy figure says, "Oh, my Helly, you tricked me," and and that was the whole scene. Who the fuck was that? It was an old dude.
It wasn't that her dad?
I don't know.
I don't know either. I gotta watch it again. I watch almost every episode twice because you miss stuff all the time.
Yeah.
But anyway, what I got out of this episode is they're setting up for a huge finale, but I don't feel like the finale is going to be satisfying. I don't think they have enough time unless it's like a 2.5-hour episode. I don't see how they're going to pull everything together and give a satisfying ending. We're going to be waiting for season 3, and I just hope it doesn't take years for them to get that out.
Well, I mean, remember, obviously this is going to get a season 3. They don't really have to do a whole lot in season 2. They're going to, and maybe it'll be an extended episode. I hope so. I would like it to be a little longer, but there's a lot that they're going to set up for so much for season 3. There's going to be so many cliffhangers in this. I liked that episode. The episode before that was, I got to go back and watch both of them again because it's like when I first watched The Matrix, it took me years to figure out what I was watching when I watched the first Matrix movie. This is very much like that. This episode was good. There was something about it that was better than the previous episode to me. I liked it.
Well, it had all the characters in it for one.
Yeah.
You didn't have that in the previous episode.
That's true. That may have been a dynamic that changed my perspective on it. This series is so weird. I don't know. I was late to the game with this series. And the first time I watched it was just kind of casually, and I'm like, what's really going on here? And then I had to go back and rewatch the entire first season. But it's surprisingly good.
It is.
Go ahead.
Nothing. Go ahead.
I finished a 5-season series last night. Only took me a week to finish 5 seasons because I got fucking time on my hands. Called The Last Ship. I don't know how old it is, but it is surprisingly good. It's a whole apocalyptic end of the world virus thing, but it's all centered around the U.S. Navy. And my friend Jay suggested this series to me, and I liked it because it was Tom Clancy level accurate with regard to maritime terminology and such. Because they would refer to systems and mechanisms that are unique to the Navy, and some of which fold over to other branches of the military. But they did a really good job in being accurate with regard to like weapon systems on the Aegis class ships and so forth. And I just finished it last night, and it was really good. One thing that I thought was interesting about it, one of the criticisms I had of that series all the way through, was that the explosion effects when the ship was doing battle with other entities, the explosion effects were really cheesy. They were really bad. And I was like, why are they not putting more into this? And then I got to the finale last night, and the explosion effects were genuine. They clearly saved their budget for the finale, for the CG effects for the explosions. But in terms of the story, in terms of the character development, I really liked it. I highly recommend it. It's called The Last Ship.
I'm gonna check that out. I got nothing to do today.
Uh,
Right again.
yeah, I can't think of anything else that I've consumed because I was kind of buried in that. So we'll see.
All right. So if you made it this far, like, subscribe, comment. Find us on Twitch. We're gonna start doing Twitch streams.
Oh yeah, I
We're
forgot
gonna
to
play
do
a
that.
game and we'll just chat with you guys. I don't know if we're gonna do those on Monday nights probably.
Sure.
I don't know if we're doing it tomorrow, if we're just gonna do a practice, but that'll be a thing that's coming in the coming weeks.
Well, I think I know what the kinks were in the last technical setup that we did for it, so we can address those kinks in terms of the audio. And as long as I can remember how to do it again, I mean, like you said, OBS should save my configuration, but I don't trust it. We'll see. Yeah, maybe tomorrow night we'll do that.
All right, so find us on Twitch. We're Leftist Lens there also.
Yep.
Yeah.
Peace out.
Anyway,
Fight the fascism and
keep resisting. Have a
Yep.
good week. We'll
Carry
see you
on.
next week.
Bye.